Alright, the project at hand is modifying this welding table. This table is cast iron. I bought it out of a machine shop that was shutting down. They had a custom machine bolted to it, so it was never used for fabrication, but it does have some 7/16 tapped holes in it. But I'm going to be doing a new pattern, 5/8 holes, to use this style clamp. Oh, this is a webbed underneath table. Let's see if you can see. Very heavy. I weighed it. It was just over 1,900 pounds. So this style of table, if you ever do any fabrication, is almost priceless to have something like this set up the way you want it. So I have a rough layout of the hole pattern I want with marker. What we'll do now is go through with some layout fluid and get a more precise measurement and start drilling. Some of these holes, because the tapped holes are where they are, I had to go off of that for the pattern. I probably would have done a little bit different if not, but it'll work. So we got some layout fluid. Alright, the can went bad, but we're improvising. We're going to put some layout fluid down. So we'll let that dry, and off of that we're going to do some precise measurements, precise enough for a welding table, with some 12-inch calipers that have the pointer attachments, and these will do a nice visible scrape into the layout fluid, and from then we can do our center punch marks. Alright, we're going to work on scribing our lines. Set your distance. Lock it in, and you're just going to swipe this way. If you can see, it gives you a nice line. So we'll go along and do that distance, and then we'll go the other axis and do the same thing, and then that'll give us our center point. Alright, for our other axis we're going to be using the edge of the table. So, as you can see, that gives you the crosshair. So, up next, center punch, spring loaded. Line that up really good. And you got your center punch. So, just have to repeat this process a bunch. Alright, now it's time to set up for drilling. And I'm going to be using this Milwaukee mag drill, but I want to go through and explain a couple different things about some other mag drills. So, most of the affordable mag drills, this is an older Evolution, this is a Jancy, but they are set up just for annular cutters. They have quick change collets, which is really nice, but the one drawback in my opinion is they are not variable speed. You have one speed and that's it. This one in particular is nice because it's a lot lighter if you're doing the side of a truck frame or something like that. But this Milwaukee setup is far superior. It's actually variable speed, forward and reverse, so you can tap with this. Also, I have two different motors for this model, but these motors on top of that have different hole patterns, so you can actually mount this backwards if you need the clearance and you want the chuck farther away from the magnet. They can be bolted on either way. This smaller motor, half-inch chuck, makes it a lot lighter, but typically I use it with this bigger motor. So, as you will see in the video I'm about to show, the one drawback with this older model is they're both regular Jacobs chucks, but we got an adapter, so this adapter you can actually load, if you're careful with it, you can put an annular cutter and you can actually get it to where it hits the 3 spots, but this will be a lot nicer. So we'll check out we'll get this adapter set up and see how it does. Alright, today we're going to be running my 1962 Monarch 10 EE lathe. We're going to be making an adapter for an annular cutter, that's what this is, to run in a regular chuck. These annular cutters have welding flats, so they need a set screw to hold them in. You can get an adapter like this. This is actually for a smaller chuck, so it doesn't have a through hole. And the through hole is for the center stop to slide up as you drill. This is also, I mean, they work, but it's not very, it's got some run out in it, so we're going to see if we can make a better one. So this lathe is a Monarch. Monarch is made in Ohio, if you didn't know that. If you're in the market for a manual lathe, Monarch is the way to go. This lathe has a electronic lead screw reverse option. It's got a taper attachment. And also all the electronics have been redone with a newer style drive and motor. Alright, I'll set you up here and let's get it cut. We're going to be turning the end of this down to about 700 thousandths. This is what's going to go in the chuck. This diameter is not critical. It's a 3/4 chuck, so we'll just make it a little bit smaller than that. This is a variable speed lathe, so just by a dial you can change your RPM. So we'll get a touch off here and make an adjustment. measurement. Switch tools out here. Okay, up next we are going to put a hole in the end. It's going to be a 5/16 hole. Do a center drill first. flipping it around next. Alright, got it flipped around. We're going to get the face cleaned up and just do a skim cut on the OD, and then we'll start with the 3/4 hole. Okay, now it is up to boring time. Just getting center line set on the bar here. Let me close, it might clear. 720, getting close. Okay, this should be the finished pass. And there it is, nice snug fit. After some deburring, what is up next is just drilling a hole for a set screw that will go on that flat. And that should go up in there. Yep, it does. And there it is all together, 5/16, 18 tap for a set screw. There you go. All right, we are lined up. We make a cut, see how it goes. This top is over 1 inch thick. Doing a 5/8 hole. Just like that. Little slug drops out. Just like a hole saw for metal. Alright, we're going to use a twist drill bit now on the hole that was already there. It's threaded. Switch over to 5/8. And before we move it, we'll go ahead and put a chamfer on the hole. Okay, I'll show you how this clamp system works if you haven't seen it before. You just got to make sure you get that 5/8 hole a pretty snug fit. That's what you want. And when you tighten down, it just kicks it back a little bit, and you can't move it. Pretty nice setup. There's also stops, which I'll be machining some more. If you have a inline, you can set up some stops and use them. There is this style of clamp. Same thing. You know, it fits in the hole and you tighten it down. So having this table full of these holes is going to be pretty nice. So I've switched up my strategy here. I wasn't having luck with the annular cutter being 5/8. I was getting it just a little bit too oversized. So I'm going to semi-finish it with a 9/16 annular cutter and then go back in with a 5/8 bit. the slug. So we'll take this out now and finish it with 5/8. Alright, now we'll do our chamfer and let's see how it looks. So you want this to be a snug fit, and it is. That's what you want right there. So you can see the pattern start to take shape. That's the square, and in the center, and obviously diagonal, it's going to line up. So next time you see it, it will be done. Okay, there's the table all done. A lot of holes to drill, and you wouldn't believe it unless you actually done it yourself. The annular cutter lasted for all those holes. One annular cutter. Take your time, use cutting fluid. Tools will last. So if you didn't see it earlier in the video, I'm going to be using this. That's the 5/8 holes for that style clamp. Stops. The adapter worked great, so I recommend throwing one of those together if you have a need for running an annular cutter in a chuck, Jacob's chuck. And if you have never heard of these Fireball tool squares, if you're a welder, most likely you've heard of it, but you can clamp this stuff down to a table, run off of it, you know, lay it down on the table. Different shapes and sizes, I recommend those if you don't already have them. I also have a jib crane above this table, so it's going to help out a lot too. You will see this table a lot in upcoming episodes, so stay tuned.